Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're your shortcut to strategic knowledge, taking complex sources and pulling out the key insights you can use.
And today, we're looking at personal and professional transformation. Not just the ideas, but the real practical principles used by a leader who made it to the C-suite in tech. A really tough, fast-moving field.
Yeah, we want to get past the usual buzzwords. We're really digging into the specific things, sometimes the uncomfortable things that actually lead to success, like what really drives growth on purpose.
How do you handle massive risks?
Right, and how do you build your own sort of personal system for innovation?
And the sources, they really circle around this core idea. If you're comfortable, you're probably not growing. You're stagnating. So we're going to explore this whole framework for, let's say, sustained discomfort and how that way of thinking really fuels innovation.
Okay, let's unpack this, because it sounds like the whole foundation, the starting point for this leader's success, it comes down to something seemingly simple, but something that takes real professional guts, relentlessly asking why.
It sounds basic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Gut. The sources are clear. Asking why, again and again, is, well, the most powerful tool there is for real dialogue, for deeper insight.
It's the difference between just looking at data and actually getting the why behind it, the cause, the implications.
Exactly. And this means, for you listening, you need to think about what you're doing with your seat at the table.
It's not just about being there.
No. You have to actually use that position. Challenge the assumptions. Ask the questions, even if everyone else seems ready to just move on.
That takes courage, like you said.
A specific kind, yeah. The courage to dig for what's real, even if it makes things awkward or shows that maybe the established way isn't the best way.
So critical thinking isn't just a nice-to-have skill.
No, it's mandatory. It's a requirement for actually moving forward strategically.
Okay, but let's get practical. The advice given is call it out right then and there if something feels off, if you disagree. How do you actually do that in a high-stakes meeting without, derailing things or looking like you're just being difficult?
That's the tricky part, isn't it? It's not about being aggressive. It's framed as being helpful.
Ah, okay.
See, if you hold back a really fundamental question, you're actually hurting the whole effort. Yeah. The idea is to phrase your why. Like, hey, if we just clarify this assumption now, will the whole project be stronger?
Rather than just, I don't get it.
Exactly. It's about pushing the collective thinking forward, not just showing you have a question.
That makes sense. So that courage to ask why, it connects directly to the next big theme, doesn't it? This whole idea of growth needing discomfort and calculated risk.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
We heard this consistently from the source material. The biggest lesson, personally and professionally, the value in actually seeking out discomfort.
If you want to grow, you have to step outside what you know, what's comfortable.
You have to push your limits.
And this is where the story gets really interesting. The source talks about a huge risk they took, a life-changing one.
The move to the U.S.
Right. With a spouse and 2 4-year-old twin boys, just based on the idea of finding new professional opportunities. That decision apparently reshaped everything.
And that's not a small thing. That's a massive gamble involving the whole family. But the crucial word is calculated. It wasn't random. It was based on seeing that staying put, staying in the predictable zone, meant stagnation. This is what defines a transformation person.
Someone who finds routine difficult.
Yeah, the source says, if my today looked like yesterday and my tomorrow will look like today, it becomes difficult. They actively look for the change.
And it's fascinating how that huge real-life risk connects to a sort of daily philosophy. That Kobe Bryant analogy comes up here.
Always trying to ratchet it up by an inch.
Yeah.
It's such a great metaphor because it's not just sports. It applies everywhere. What's that extra inch of challenge you can take on this week?
Maybe it's a project slightly outside your expertise.
Or leading that tough meeting, challenging senior people perhaps. Growth happens when you do things. When you try that extra inch, see what happens, and you venture into that unknown space.
Okay, so if you embrace that transformation mindset, constantly pushing, where does that lead in today's business world? It seems to point straight towards digital transformation.
And crucially, the role a tech leader needs to play. Wow. And digital transformation, it's just a necessity now. It's not some buzzword. Think about your own life, booking flights, restaurants, paying bills.
It's all digital.
Exactly. Consumers demand it. So businesses have to adapt. They don't have a choice.
But this changes the game for tech leaders, doesn't it? It's not just about implementing the latest cool tool.
No, definitely not. The focus has to shift completely. You need to look at business processes end to end. How do we use tech to get real, measurable business outcomes
So tech people need to stop thinking like just tech people.
and start thinking like business leaders. That's the toughest leap for many.
You have to truly understand how the company makes money, how it creates value for customers, or how it runs efficiently inside.
Right. And any tech project must tie directly back to those business goals. You can't just do innovation for innovation's sake. That's just wasting time and money.
The focus always has to be on the end user, solving their problems, adding value.
Always.
I want to unpack some of that C-suite language we came across. The source mentions connecting the dots east-west and north-south. What does that actually mean in practice?
It's about breaking down silos, the walls between departments. East-west could be linking, say, sales and marketing insights directly with your supply chain planning.
Okay.
North-south is more about the vertical link, connecting the big picture strategy from the executives all the way down to what people are doing on the front lines.
So it's about seeing the whole system.
Exactly. If you only fix a tiny problem in one department, like optimizing one marketing tool, that's just a point solution.
Yeah.
A real business leader thinks systemically. They understand the whole value chain and solve problems across it.
And to understand that whole value chain, you need a broad skill set, right? Which brings us to the next key point. Being really intentional, almost selfish, about your own development.
Yes, this is really practical advice. You have to manage your career with your own agenda. Are you consciously building new skills every year? Are you adding more value?
You can't just wait for someone else to plan your growth.
If you do, you'll probably fall short. You need to drive it.
And the sources say building that kind of indispensable skill set means getting experience across different areas, different industries, different technologies.
But importantly, they point out, you can often do that within one large company.
By moving around.
Yeah, moving between functions. Maybe start in a client-facing role, then move into finance or HR or operations. Get that broad perspective.
There was a great example given, wasn't there, about early career training?
At Tata Steel, the leader started as a metallurgical engineer, but spent a year learning the entire business, from raw materials to customer delivery, finance, everything. That kind of experience is invaluable. It teaches you that core business principles are transferable. Once you understand how value is created, really understand it, you could apply that thinking anywhere.
So you become the driver, not the passenger in your career. You make the news, you don't just report it.
That's a good way to put it. And recognition. The sources say that's just a byproduct. If you focus on making a real impact, driving real change and innovation, the recognition tends to follow.
But making that impact sticking to your own agenda, that takes some serious self-awareness. And that's where this idea of a personal board of directors comes in.
Yes, and this isn't just about having mentors who pat you on the back.
Right.
Your personal board should be people you genuinely aspire to be like, people operating at the level you want to reach.
And the crucial difference.
You have to explicitly ask them for critical feedback.
Yeah.
The tough stuff.
Yeah.
Not just encouragement.
That's the hard part. How do you set that up so they actually give you the unvarnished truth?
You have to be direct. Go to them and say, look, I need you to tell me what I'm missing. Where are my blind spots? What political currents am I not seeing?
You're basically asking them to be your toughest critic.
Exactly. You need that counterbalance, especially when you're taking big swings, aiming high. Because the sources say you don't expect 100% success when you're pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
You shoot higher, accept some misses, but you need that network giving you the objective reality check.
Okay, so let's bring this all together. To sustain this kind of high-impact transformation, two final things seem essential: inclusion and resilience.
Right. And inclusion, again, is framed as a business necessity. It's not just the right thing to do, although it is. Inclusive teams simply perform better. They get better results.
The source used that phrase, if you want to go far, go together.
Simple but powerful. And for leaders, especially those from technical backgrounds, engineers, for example, who are often solution-focused, it means shifting. Shifting from being the person with all the answers to being the leader who asks the right questions.
To unlock the team's potential.
Exactly. And making sure those quieter voices, the ones that might hold crucial insights, actually get heard. You need to amplify them.
And all this happens against a backdrop of constant change, constant disruption, which demands resilience.
Huge amounts of resilience. But resilience here isn't just about toughing it out. It's defined more actively. It's about moving fast. Yes, sometimes falling down.
But the key is getting back up fast.
Recovering quickly. That's the critical part.
So when things inevitably go wrong, when there's a failure or disruption, you need the systems and the culture to learn from it immediately.
Right. Learn fast, make sure it doesn't happen again, and then get back on track, driving to that next milestone even faster than before.
That cycle speed, failure, learning, rapid recovery, that's what keeps high-impact change going over the long haul.
Precisely. It's the engine that sustains transformation.
So, what does this all mean for you listening? It seems that the path to being a real catalyst for change involves, well, intentional self-critique, taking strategic risks, sometimes huge ones like moving your family across the world, and leading by asking brave questions, not just having answers.
And we've heard that recognition should ideally just follow naturally from making a real impact. But here's a final thought to chew on. What if you are consistently making a difference, adding real value, but that recognition just isn't coming? Thinking about that personal board of directors concept, what specific part of that strategy could you, or maybe should you, leverage to become your own best advocate? How do you ensure your significant impact is actually seen and valued by the organization when it isn't happening automatically?
Something to think about. Harness that power of transformation within yourself. Be courageous, be critical, and never stop looking for that extra inch of growth.